How would you feel if I told you that there was a game that would absolutely and utterly consume you?
Now, before we begin this video, there is something that I would like to mention first. And that is, a lot of the footage in this video is probably going to be censored. Now, this is not due to copyright reasons. This is mainly due to keeping the experience safe. Because I want you to watch this video, and I want you to feel like wanting to pick up Tunic one day and play it. And to protect that experience, I have to both be able to talk about this game, yet not talk about it. Do you get what I'm saying? Tunic, let me just say it straight away, is a fucking experience! 10 out of 10! So I'm gonna try and keep a lot of stuff secret. I'm gonna try and censor a lot of important things, while still trying to talk to you about them, to get you interested. Because this game is amazing. So I just want to give those heads up. So without further ado, let's get right on into the video, shall we? Now, first thing first, I want to do a little experiment with you all. I want you to take a look at the cover art for Tunic. I want you to just pause the video right here and then just give it a good look, and then think about what this little anthropomorphic fox reminds you of. Anyone specific? Any game character that you've ever heard or seen about before? Now, if you're like me, then you've most likely already noticed how our furry little friend looks a lot like Link, the green tunic wearing elf. Like, they're both wearing the green tunic. It's very, very, very obvious. Even from the way that they happily wield their little sword, and then also has a beautiful, pristine blue shield by their side. It also looks a little bit like OG Link as well. Not just a Link from the past, but also OG Link, because our little furry friend has that cross on his shield as well. So it looks like a mix of a Link to the Past blue shield, and then OG Link's cross wooden shield, which is a very little nice touch. And this is very intentional. In a Game Rant blog post by Jessica Barnes, we can actually read from a quote from the game director himself, Andrew Shouldice, where he says, and I quote, "The game was inspired by a certain classical triangle-seeking game." And true to that quote, it is not just in the character's design that we have seen inspiration from Zelda games. It is also in the whole entire game itself, in its vibrant and beautiful world, and even down to its combat. We go around smashing pots to get currencies. Like, you can't get more Zelda than that. But in the end, the beauty of this game is not how much it reminds of Zelda. It's not about how Zelda-like the combat is, how Zelda-like smashing the pots are. It's not about that. It's about the player guide. If you're like me, aka a dirty fucking zoomer, degenerate gamer, then you might not know what in the world this is. And I understand if you don't. This, my dear viewer, is a player's guidebook. Specifically the player's guidebook to The Legend of Zelda: A Link to the Past. As far as I know, the third installment in the Legend of Zelda series. Now the reason why I chose A Link to the Past player's guidebook over, for example, NES Game Atlas's Legend of Zelda guidebook is due to the fact that it's different than the first other two installments books. How, you might be wondering? Well, A Link to the Past player's guidebook was the first ever player's guidebook to cover a game extensively. I'm talking lore, I'm talking secrets around the world, I'm talking strategies at every single boss, and not only that, but it's also all written in an in-game lore style, as if the very characters themselves have written down the lore of this world onto the pages. That is fucking awesome. Like I can't lie. That's fucking dope. I mean, just look at these beautiful pages. And it's because of that how this player guide, they've decided to go the extra mile of even trying to write it as if the game characters themselves have written down all this knowledge in the book, that I feel like it is a perfect fit for Tunic's player guide. Tunic's player guide, much like A Link to the Past player guide, is just oozing with passion about how to fight certain encounters, what kind of strategies to take, what kind of items you need, secrets around in the world, lore to try and understand the world that you're in. And that's fucking awesome, man. Like, no joke, that is... God, that is odd. And maybe you didn't notice this, but on a lot of the pages I showed of you from Tunic, you might have noticed that there was a whole bunch of gibberish. You know how I talked about how the Zelda A Link to the Past player guidebook was like, okay, we're gonna make it sound like this is being told from the actual characters in lore that has written this player guidebook for us. That's kind of the same thing here in Tunic. All that gibberish is some form of self-made in-game language that they have actually made for the game that is just sprawled around all across the fucking guidebook so that you can understand some of it when it's told to you in English, but then so much the rest of it is just indecipherable gibberish. That's just wonderful. And that's also what's so cool about this, you know? Because guidebooks aren't really a thing anymore. It's an old, forgotten novelty. And when it is there, it is mostly just a collectible. It is not what it used to be. It is I guess you could say, it is a thing of the past. Boom! Get it? Because A Link to the Past. I'm funny with word puns like that. I'm very clever. I know. Kiss biceps. Alright, we have officially gone past the 9-minute mark in this unscripted video, so I think it's about time that we leave Zelda behind and start focusing mainly just on Tunic as a whole. So, let's get on to the next chapter then, shall we? Let's leave this elf boy in the past. I'm sorry, I'll stop.
Girl, what you say? What you say, huh? Yeah, that's what I'm talking about.
It is very apparent now that Tunic itself wears its inspiration on its sleeves. But I feel like it would be very disingenuous to say that it's just a Zelda copycat. Tunic is more than that. It is a love letter to Zelda as a whole, to games of that era as a whole. I mean, one of its biggest fucking gimmicks that I have not mentioned yet is the fact that you have to go around the world and find the player guidebook pieces to be able to figure out how this game works. And that's what's so interesting about Tunic. It's not just a Zelda game where you go around figuring out small puzzles in the world and also fighting enemies. It is also a big ass puzzle about figuring out how the game works. This game, in the kindest way possible that I can say it, is fucking insane. Like, for starters, let's go back to what I was saying about you having to figure out how the game works. Take these pillars, for example. You could go around for fucking hours wondering about, there's a lot of these. How in the world do I interact with them? Oh, in normal game terms, it would probably be like, I probably haven't found the item that I need yet. Or, no, I haven't found the key yet. Only to then later on pick up a fucking piece of parchment that tells you straight away a button press that you had to do this entire time just to fucking activate them. And the crazy thing about this is that you could have done this the whole fucking time. And that is what's so amazing about the fucking player guide. You can go around the world and you wouldn't know if you needed a key or if you just don't know the correct button press, because the game doesn't really have a tutorial. The tutorial is on a piece of parchment that has been spread out thinly all around the fucking map for you to pick up each and every single piece, and you never know what you might get. Maybe you might get a piece of lore. Maybe you might get to know what this specific item does that you just don't know what the hell it does. Or maybe you'll finally figure out what kind of button you need to press in what kind of way to finally be able to activate this certain little thing that you technically could have done since you fucking began the game. And let's talk about the fucking crazy ass art direction as well when we talk about it. Dude, we go from just a silly little La La Land to motherfucking ruins, to motherfucking bony boys, crypts, and then suddenly, before you know it, you're in fucking Down Under, baby, and it's sci-fi time. And you're just wondering, where the fuck am I? What the fuck is going on? And don't even get me fucking started on the goddamn shopkeeper! Oh my god! And you can have a gun! Did I mention that? Do you believe me now when I say that this game is crazy? And if that wasn't enough, let me just say that I lied before about that indecipherable language in the guidebooks. That's not apparently indecipherable. If you get the right page, you can apparently decipher that shit. As a matter of fact, I went on Reddit not too long ago to try and figure out if I could learn how in the world that language worked. And I ended up on some Reddit page where some guy had written down all of the grammar rules and vocabulary of the language itself and have put it on a piece of parchment on the internet for everyone to read to try and figure out, and I don't understand what the fuck it says. I still don't get it. I'm not an English major. I don't know what the fuck any of this means. And then right beneath that, in the very same fucking forum, you can just go right down. And then there's some guy who has literally made a little fucking deciphering machine where you can input all of the little symbols and it will try to make it into something intelligible that you can read. Although it doesn't really work that much. But that's what I'm saying! That's what I'm trying to tell you! That this game is fucking crazy! The amount of hours that I've spent trying to figure out what the fuck is going on, trying to learn all about the pages, and then only to be stomped by words I don't understand, but apparently can if I get the right thing. And the secrets that are just hidden around every single corner. Help! Help me!
Do you understand now what I mean with the title of this video when I say that this game will consume you?
This, dear viewer, is what Tunic is about. A game where if you let it, it will absolutely consume your very being. Although, to be fair, that's kind of a gross overstatement. But at least it consumed a lot of my time. Alright, before we finish off this segment and go on to the final segment of this video, I would just like to hammer home the statement I made when I said that you could have done a puzzle the whole entire time since the beginning of the game, but you just didn't know it yet. In the next footage I'm about to show you, I began on a whole new character. My old character is close to the end of the game. Meanwhile, this one is a completely new character. And I'm going to go into that world, and then I'm going to immediately go for one of the end game puzzles. And while we wait for my character to get to the area, I would also just like to quickly talk about another thing that I love about Tunic. Something that I didn't get to talk about in my insane tangent early on in the video. It is the sense of freedom that this game gives you. Have you ever played a Souls game? No, let me rephrase that. When you play a Souls game, don't you just love it when they put a late game enemy in an early game area? The enemy is insanely hard and feels nearly impossible, but you can kill it if you're good enough. And if you kill it, then you are very heavily and kindly rewarded as well for your efforts. That is my absolute favorite thing ever in any games. And Tunic does it so fucking well. Literally, God, it feels like when you play Dark Souls 1 and then you find that fucking Dark Knight. Are they called Dark Knights? God, I've forgotten what they are called. Black Knights. When you find the fucking Black Knight back in that old ruin city where you fight the Taurus demon. Dude, if you kill him, if you manage to kill him, and then you're also lucky enough to get his greatsword, boy, you're fucking, ooh, that's my fucking cocaine. Just from that sheer amount of skill and luck, you've already beaten the game. Because you've gotten one of the most powerful weapons in the game. And that's the kind of shit that I like. That's the kind of stuff that I like in my fucking video games. And that's what Tunic does very well. Not just with puzzles, but also with the world itself. Because you can go into insanely early stage areas immediately off the bat. All you really need is a sword. Or, if you can figure out some of the later game puzzles, then you can set your stick on fire, and then that stick, which couldn't destroy shrubbery before, can destroy it now. And that's fucking genius. And here is the puzzle. This one is what I did at the end game on my other character. And right here, right now, I'm figuring it out on my new character. And there we have it. It can still open, despite the fact this is a new character who doesn't even have the page to tell him how to do it. As long as you know how to do this shit, Tunic lets you fucking do it. That is so fucking good! And that's why Tunic is a fucking 10 out of 10 for me, baby. Oh yeah, and the fucking OST slaps absolutely fucking hard. God, what a ride, huh? Finally at the end of the video, at the end of this long fucking journey. Tunic, much like this video, Tunic is an experience. A ride of a lifetime. Now I wouldn't call this video the ride of a lifetime, but the game is certainly a ride of a lifetime. I haven't even finished it yet. There are just so many secrets to explore. So many secrets that I need to do to get like the true ending. There is so much to explore and find in Tunic So many things that can make you feel smart. Just a few more extra things that I would like to note before I finish off this video that I would like to tell you all is that, did you know that Tunic was, for a few years, was actually a solo project by Andrew himself. So he began the project back in 2015. And it wasn't until 2017 that he started getting more help with producing the game. And then it was finished and launched in 2022. So that's kind of impressive that for a few years he just did this solo. But in total, he and his whole team in Isometric Corp Games, they did a great fucking job. A really, really great fucking job. This game is something that I'm gonna remember for the rest of my life, no joke. This game is up there with... Oh my god, I've already forgotten the name of that Daniel Mullen game. Hold on, let me think. Inscryption! That's what it was called, Inscryption. But yeah, Inscryption. Inscryption was a game that I played a while ago, which I really fucking enjoyed, like a lot. It was the first game ever that I tried to mod for the first time on my laptop, and it was great. It was so good. But yeah, Tunic is definitely a game that deserves to be on a bucket list if you have like a bucket list of video games you want to try out before you die. So if this video has helped you in any way, trying to like make you enticed into Tunic, then I have done my due diligence. Without further ado, I hope you all enjoyed, and thank you all so much for watching today's episode. Oh yeah, and before I forget, check the link in the description below. That's where I keep all the Bandcamp pages for the different musical artists that I use. So check that out. And remember, if I don't see ya, good morning, good afternoon, and good night, everyone. This one's different too now. Nothing happened. What do you mean?
Look at your guy.
What?
What does he look like?
It's a furry?
Okay.
What the fuck? Oh, see now. My dress has been changing this whole time, hasn't it?
Yeah, your skin color too. Or fur.
But what about the bells?
Go hit it. Go
What?
hit the bell right in front of that thing that you just went through.
Oh my god, it has been resetting me. That's
You've
what
been
I'm
going
white.
so long while being gray.
Oh, what? Okay, yeah, I am fucking... Okay, to be fair, I did see that I was white, but I thought that was a lighting thing. Shut up. Shut up.